It's time to turn your life-challenging moments into life-changing messages. Welcome to the Power Lift Stories podcast, where we are interviewing women whose stories will leave you lifted up, fired up, and fueled up with hope, courage, and inspiration. We want to thank our sponsor, Powerful Journey, who helps women tell their stories, write their books, and building a profitable brand around both. Join the masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com. That is PhyllisJenkins.com. Now here's your host, Phyllis Jenkins.
Tell me, have you ever faced a situation that at the moment felt like the worst thing that ever happened to you? But when you look back at it now, you can see where it actually was the very thing that was needed to push you into your purpose. Well, that's what this interview is about today. A young lady who went through a challenging time in her life, but only to look now and to see that God was setting her up to be pushed into her purpose. I hope that you are ready to walk away with some golden nuggets today, things that are going to push you into action, because this is a very powerful interview. Enjoy. And so let's welcome Angela Hayes. Angela, welcome.
Thank you, Miss Phyllis. Glad to be here today with you.
Happy to have you, your beautiful smile. And if you all got let me grab it here, our Volume 2 anthology, Angela and her mother are in this particular anthology telling their story. So we have a mother-daughter duo that are in Volume 2. But let me just share with you, Angela is one of the sweetest young women that I have met. And she's doing some powerful things. She is a woman of faith who has a business, and the business is Unique Foundations Enterprises, and she'll tell us a little bit more about that in just a moment. She is a powerful woman. She's resilient. She is an encourager. She's courageous, and she is unique in a lot of ways. But we are so very blessed to have you, Angela, a part of the anthology, and she will be writing her book as well for the next conference for next year. But Angela, fill in a little bit more about yourself, and then let's get into our interview.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Phyllis. Again, thank you for having me here today with Powerful Journeys podcast. And it is a tremendous blessing to be a part of this organization. And so a little bit more about me, as Ms. Phyllis has said today, that I am blessed now to be a business owner. And in my business, my primary services is notarial services. I'm a mobile notary. Also, I am a notary signing agent. And what that is I'm the one that sits with you at the table to complete and close out your documents in your real estate transactions. That can be property sales, homes, refinances, you name it. I can do it. I can sign it. And along with the mobile notary work, we also specialize in doing legal documents, loan modifications, anything basically that needs to be notarized. We are commissioned notaries in the state of Texas. And also added to that, I am a remote online notary as well. So you don't have to be close to me here in my area in Brazoria County. I can notarize your documents online as well. So
that is amazing. I didn't know we had those services now that online. Yes. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And it's the industry is transitioning. So I wanted to be on the cutting edge of the industry. So I became a licensed online notary as well with 25 years of experience in notarizing.
Wow.
So in addition to my notary business, I have added another layer in life insurance and final expense planning. So I am one to help educate the community and individuals and families in putting a life insurance and a final expense plan in place for the worst day of their life. So I'm so happy to do that. My heart and my passion is to, help individuals, educate them in those areas so they can be in a better position in that time of need.
Wow. Thank you for doing that. And so if you're watching today and you're in need of any of the services that she just mentioned, we'll have in the show notes how you can contact Angela. But let's move now into our next portion of the interview. And I want to just ask the question, if you were to give your story a title, what would that title be and why?
Well, the title would be Pushed into Purpose. And why is because when I faced the challenge of making a decision to move out of my 24-year career in local government, I really was at a crossroad. I didn't really have a choice. And it looked like a negative situation. But I realized after it was all said and done that God was pushing me into what I was destined to do. So now I'm all about purpose. I'm all about fulfilling the calls and the assignments that God actually has for me here in the earth realm, in the marketplace, in ministry, in community, you name it.
I love that. And I just want those of you who are listening today to pay attention to what Angela said. She was pushed into her purpose. And that's probably where some of you are today. You thought you lost that job for another reason, but then you continue and you find out that God opened up other doors for you and that you discovered your purpose in which you were created. And so I love that and love the title, Pushed into Purpose, because there are so many of us that can look back over our life, Angela, and see where we were pushed into our purpose because we were comfortable.
Yes.
We were secure, we thought, in those positions. And God had to give us a little nudge to get us to where He wanted us to be so that we could fulfill the reason He created us. So I love that title. And just share with us part of your story, please.
Yes. So as I said, I was pushed into purpose. I had 24 years of experience working in local government. The last 12 years, I was a leader in the court administration division. Court was my thing. So I'm not bragging, Miss Phyllis, but I was good at what I did.
Amen.
And I was really honored to be in my hometown as the new administrator. And that was in 2018. So I was honored to be here and glad to be here. And just going along that journey, I had actually planned to retire. That was my plans, thinking like after 25 years in this industry. Mind you, I didn't think that I was going to stay in the court industry when I started back in 1998. I just said, oh, this is short term. I'm not going to be here that long. I'm going to move on to something else. Well, that didn't happen. So as I advanced in my career, I ended up, like I said, as a court administrator, which is the operator over operations of the court. And you are actually responsible for a lot of confidential information, the custodial of documents. So going along thinking 25 years, okay, let's look at retirement. Well, That's not what God said. And so I was faced with a situation in which I was put on um, an administrative investigation. And so, and during that time, it was something that was just, it was mind blowing, but it also was devastating to me because I have a strong work ethic. I was always taught to have a great work ethic. Always work with a heart of compassion for people, and also represent in not only just what I did, but myself. One of my strong core values is having morals and ethics and being honest and truthful in all things. And so when I was faced with this situation, I realized this was not a situation that was being handled in a moral, ethical manner. And it was devastating to me initially. But God stepped in while I was at that time of rest, while I was away from the office, while I didn't have a lot of noise and distractions in my ear, and I didn't have a lot of people pulling on me. And when I say pulling on me, some of those out there may realize when you're in leadership positions, you have a lot of people that you answer to. And you also have the oversight of individuals on staff. And so a lot of times you get wrapped up in that. And sometimes there were days, Phyllis, that I would be in my office trying to work, but it was like my door was constantly like a revolving door. And individuals were coming in, not only just for work related things, but it a lot of times ended up being like a counseling session, a ministering session, a praying session, a debriefing session. And so I didn't realize the wear and tear that was happening to me emotionally. And I would later find on physically. So I knew now that I was in the best place that I needed to be because God had an ultimate plan. And he was not going to let the enemy take me out before my time and before my purpose was being fulfilled.
Amen. What a powerful message you just shared. There were lots of different nuggets that can be pulled from that. So for those of you who are watching today or even on the replay, listen carefully to what Angela said. All the tugs that were pulling on her, and that once she was in a place where she could rest, she could hear better from God and hear exactly what it is that he had in store for her, what she couldn't hear before, she could hear at that moment. So that's a message for somebody today who is watching,
Yes.
who have all the noise, all the distractions going on. And so thank you for sharing that. And I know that you have seen God work mightily throughout your story and throughout your life as well. But Angela, take us down to the moment where you have stood on stage, you've shared your story, and you saw women leaning in. You saw them shaking their heads like, yes, my sister, I feel you. I understand. You even saw women wiping tears because they resonated with your story. But now everyone has left. You're turning to go back to your vehicle. What are 3 lessons that you hope that every person that heard your story walked away with?
3 of the lessons that I pointed out in the writing was, first of all, to live your authentic life. Be authentic with who you are and whose you are and who God has created you to be. And remain committed to your Christian values and your core values. Those are things that we don't find a lot today in our society, in the workplace, in different organizations, and in ministry. So you have to remain committed to your authentic self and to what you know and you believe that lines up with the word of God. To Miss Phyllis, I would say refuse to allow other people's insecurities, their fears, and their opinions to make you feel uncomfortable to the point that you compromise the truth.
Wow. Yeah.
A lot of people, unfortunately, are insecure. They fear a lot of things, and because we have the core of us is truth, the foundation of us is truth. Their fears come out, and it causes them to retaliate, on you, or it causes them to act out in ways and situations that is challenging to you a lot of times, or like I said, for me was devastating. But I had to see it through the eyes and the perspective of God, knowing, okay, this is really not who this person is, but because there's fear there, there's insecurity there, they have acted out in this manner. And number 3 is one of the things that I have endured probably almost all my life, but now I'm free from it, is rejection.
Wow.
Is rejection. So when I was pushed out of that workplace, in that workplace experience, I realized that this organization no longer has the capacity for my greatness because their minds are restricted and their thoughts are not able to comprehend, what God has in me. And so therefore, there's restricted boundaries. There's a time when individuals will try to put a cap on you and say, oh, we're not going to allow her in this circle. We're not going to allow her to participate in this meeting or this workshop. Those are restrictions that individuals will try to put on you. But because you are rejected, just know that there is greatness on the inside of you. Yes. And God has other places, spaces, and people for you to be with and for you to be around and for you to empower and to help.
What a word. What a word. Oh my goodness. So very good. So very good. Go over those 3. Just list those 3 one more time. I know the last one was rejection. List those 3.
Yes. Live authentically and refuse to allow other people's insecurities, fears, and opinions cause you to compromise the truth.
And the third one was
rejection.
Rejection. For those of you listening today, as you just heard Angela say, you have seeds of greatness inside of you, and don't let all the noise and those around you stunt your growth, because they don't understand you or what's going on. Sometimes it's not for them to understand. Many times they won't understand your growth. They won't understand your stretching. And so it's okay to move out of that space, and so that you can continue to grow and continue to be the person that God has created you to be. And so our pushed into purpose today is Angela's title, but those are such strong words for you to meditate on and to take away the nuggets that has been spoken to you today. So I want to invite you to leave your comments in the comment section, because I know that you have walked away today with some great great nuggets that will move you into action. And that's what this is all about. Not just for you to come and listen and to be inspired and encouraged. We want to move you to action.
Yes.
So whatever it is that's been keeping you from stretching, from going to the next level, to being pushed to your purpose, to live in the purpose that God has created you to live in, then reach out to Angela and let her give you some more pointers, or allow God to use her to give you some more direction. So Angela, how can they reach out and to you? How can they connect with you?
They can connect with me in several ways. I am on social media, so I am found on Facebook under my name, Angelia Hayes, and that's Angelia. I'm there. I also have a business page there, Unique Foundations Enterprise. You can also connect with me on Instagram, and for those professionals, LinkedIn, and you can also follow me on Twitter. So you can find me at pretty much all those places.
Well, she's covered all of the social media outlets just about. So, and again, it's pronounced Angela, correct? But it looks like Angelia. So I'm glad that you made that note. But you can look in the show notes today and get the spelling of her name and each of the connections, the ways that you can connect with her. So Angela, thank you again for being here. I look forward to seeing you at the conference and seeing you take your story to the stage and lives being changed. So again, thank you for being here, and God's blessings on the works of your hands as you continue to make a difference in the lives of others.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in being on the show, go to phyllisjenkins.com. You can also sign up for the Powerful Journey Masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com.